As a self-proclaimed expert in chatting, yes, me, because I've been doing it for 2 months and I'm an expert. I've never done it, but I've been hiring and training people for 2 months to be OnlyFans chatters, and I'm damn good at that. Damn good at it. Although, to be honest with you, like at least 50% of it is just finding the right people. However, if I have the right people, I can turn them into good chatters, period. End of story. And not only can I turn them into good chatters, I can maintain them as good chatters and have them improve, and everything will be great. Now, as somebody who is so amazingly awesome at that, eventually I got to the point where the chat team would grow and I would have just too much going on, to the point where like I needed to install somebody who would help or be like in charge more or less of these other people. And so I chose a chatter manager. Now, in this video, and it was a great decision, very happy with it. Like, he's not perfect. He's new to managing people. But I'm happy with the decision, and I am also happy to help him grow as a manager so that I can not have to be as involved. The do's and don'ts, let's talk about them. Start with the do's. Do promote from within. So I have attempted to hire chatters with experience. I've attempted to hire chatter managers with experience and their own team. I've attempted to hire chatting agencies to oversee our chatters. They have all been a complete disaster. And when I say complete disaster, like I've lost money every single time. At best, I broke even and just wasted my time. At worst, I lost money. Who knows why? Are they incompetent? Are they like, what's the 100% fail rate for? I have no idea. But the fact is that there is a 100% fail rate. However, when I hire and train people with no experience, things, I don't want to say they always go well, because I've hired some duds in the past for sure. But if you promote somebody from within, think about it like this, right? You can go and that's a dumb example actually. When you promote somebody from within, it will show other people on the team that there is room for advancements, and that if they do a good job, and it affects people. Not everybody will want to be a manager, of course, but the people that do want to be a manager, the people that do aspire to leadership, and they want to make more money and they want to advance their career, whether it's for ego or whatever, those people will take note and they'll be like, oh, he just promoted this motherfucker. If I do a good job, because they see the rate at which I'm expanding. All my chatters are still members of the chatter training group that I do. So they see me every single day in the fucking group training new people. So they know the team is expanding, and they know that eventually it's going to get to the point where I need another manager. I'm not going to have one guy in charge of 20 fucking people and also managing accounts. That's not going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to break it up when I get there, but like, that's not going to happen. So, promote somebody from within, because this guy that I hired and trained, he, like, when you hire and train new people and you are the first place that like, you like take their virginity, they're loyal to you, you know. My chatter, who I fucking has been with me for a year, he started chatting with me, and like he could go work for somebody else. He could go find somebody. Like, everybody needs chatters, but he has not left. He is loyal to me because I didn't even really teach him how to do it. I don't know. Maybe he just likes me. Who knows? But it's good to hire from within, promote from within. Number 2, pick somebody who wants the role for the right reasons. So, to be fair, when I picked this guy, I asked him if he wanted to do it. And the reason that I asked him, the reason I needed a manager is because I had some salespeople who were underperforming, and I didn't want to spend so much time. I was trying to be clever. I was like, okay, well, I can either break my head against the fucking wall, reviewing their accounts and all this shit, trying to get them to improve, or I can assign them to him and he will do it, and I don't have to worry about it and go do something else. So it didn't work. All those people I ended up firing. So then it begs the question, like, do I really need a manager? Do I really need one? Because like the chatters who are good, who are like performing well every day, they're not, I'm managing them still. I'm basically in charge of them. They don't report to this guy. This guy is like in charge of the new people. Now, that's still a good thing to have, even though I technically don't need it, because it's encouraging the teaching of new people different strategies. And it's cultivating an environment of cooperation and also of providing information to your teammates that will help them sell more. So that to have a chatter who's responsible for helping new people, period, that is good. But you want somebody who wants the role for the right reasons. What are the right reasons? Number one is that they like the challenge, right? Well, okay. I don't want to go over them too deep. Like, it's almost 8:00. I'm fucking starving. So number one, I can't even think. You want somebody who wants the role for the right reasons. Okay, let's talk about the wrong reasons, actually. The wrong reasons is that they're fucking egotistical. The wrong reasons are that they want to make more money and they don't care about the new people. You want somebody who will who the idea of teaching and helping and improving new people appeals to them. Like me, for example, right? I genuinely like the idea that I can sit here and make a video that will help the person who watches it or listens to it. I like that. That's fun for me. And I think that it shows in my content that I enjoy that, right? I like explaining things, and you want somebody close to that. Do number 3, pick somebody who is patient and helpful. So, I mean, this is an obvious one, right? You don't want somebody, a lot of what people do is they hire somebody who's good at sales. They hire their best chat, or they promote their best chatter. And they're like, okay, you're the best, so I want you to teach people. But if that person is not patient, if that person is not helpful, then what have you done? All you've done is put somebody in power who is going to fucking ruin your new chatters. And that's not good. Number 4, pick somebody who's good at sales. This is obvious. Obviously, well, I mean, if I was managing people, I do manage people, and I made some good chatters, and I am good at sales. Actually, I take that back. I just have never chatted before. So you want somebody, theoretically, I guess, who's good at chatting. You kind of need somebody who's good at chatting. Am I going to find some random person who's not good at chatting and just has sales experience who can come in and train chatters? Probably not. Like that. How about like this? There's never been, this is crazy. There's never been, I'm the only one who has trained chatters to sell and be good who has never chatted. You can count on one finger the amount of people that have done that. And it's me. I'm the only one. So I'm not going to find somebody else who's done that. So you want to find somebody who is good. But I would rather have somebody who's good at teaching and understands it conceptually than somebody who sucks at teaching who is really good at it in practice. Number 5, pick somebody who can handle managing and also selling at the same time. So this is an individual capacity thing. Some chatters I've noticed they can only handle one account. Like you give them 2 accounts, they get overwhelmed. Some chatters can handle 2 accounts. Not a lot of chatters will be able to handle 2 accounts and also manage people. The manager that I have now, he's doing 2 accounts and he's managing people. To be honest with you, the accounts that he's on specifically, those accounts are getting a lot of subs. One of them I think they both get like 40 subs a day. There's no way that only one person can fucking handle that. I'm losing money on those accounts. I have to split one of those off of him so he can focus on one and his managerial duties. So yeah, you have to like, at least, especially when you're small, you want to pick somebody who can manage, but will also sell. And let me tell you, as somebody who has worked as a manager in sales, it's really interesting. When you're just a salesperson, your struggle is to sell. You're like, oh, I got to go and I got to sell this much, because that's where your money comes from. When you're a manager, your focus shifts from you selling, and you're the only one who sells in your own mind. You only care about your own sales, to I need to get these other people to sell. And it's not easy to get other people to do what you want them to do. Especially like most sales managers who are promoted to manager, they're not trained on being managers. Like I didn't train my fucking manager. I just happened to pick somebody who I thought would be good for the role. I should probably train them a little bit more. Okay, let's talk about the don'ts. Don't pick the top seller if they are not good manager material. So I will give you an example of another chatter that I have who I attempted to promote to manager, who I fired within 24 hours as a manager. He's still a chatter. He's a good chatter. This is actually the chatter that has been with me for a year. Stable, reliable, consistent, and he probably understands chatting better than anybody else. Even the guys that sell more than him. He doesn't sell the most every day. He doesn't have a very like advanced, like he's not going to get some guy to pay a girl's rent. It's not going to happen. But he can make a lot of small sales every day. He can sell fucking $500 a day. And like, he can do that every day if he puts in the time and he puts in the work. So, and there's definitely value in having him be in a role of authority if he can pass that knowledge on. If he can like help new people do what he does and become like him, amazing. Like it would be very worth it. Now, what happened is that I promoted the manager, and this guy messaged me like fucking 2 hours later, and he's like, hey, listen, can you please give me the same deal that you gave this guy and put me in charge of people, and like I'll manage them and I'll help them improve and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem. Because I saw that he wanted it. And I was like, all right, if he wants it, he'll do a good job. So like a couple hours later, I get a message from one of the people he's chatting. And he's like, bro, this guy's fucking up my sales. And he sends me a screenshot of like the worst mass message I've ever seen. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back or this is what eventually led to me making the rule against mass messages. I reviewed the account because basically what I did is the one who was being managed told me that like, he was like, yeah, this guy like came to me and he said that like we would split all the sales on my account and he would like, tell me what to do basically. And I was like, no, he wanted to do it on his own. I ended up firing that chatter, by the way. So like might've been the best choice for him, to be honest. But what that told me was that, and maybe I misinterpreted this, but what that told me was that he wanted to do it only for the money. His main priority wasn't to teach this guy and have this guy improve. What he wanted was another account to be in charge of and to have help with so that he could make more money. That's a salesman mentality. That's not a managerial mentality. And I want somebody, if they're going to be a manager, they need to have a manager's mentality. The mentality of like, I have this new person. It's my job to make sure that they improve as a chatter so that they don't need me there to do anything for them. And this guy did not seem to have that. So I fired him immediately, and then I made the mass message video, and I was like, and things have been better since then. Number 2, don't pick somebody with a confrontational personality. Now, I don't have any people that work for me that are confrontational. In fact, I'll roll this into the next one as well, which is that don't pick somebody who has ever been even the slightest bit disobedient. Now, again, I don't have anybody who is like that. I don't have anybody who argues. I don't have anybody who talks back. I don't have anybody who I don't even tolerate like them fighting with each other. No, we put a stop to that immediately. That does not happen here. Work it out now, immediately. Like work it out, or like you're both going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem with both of you, and you don't want that. So that does not exist. Or if it does exist, then they're very good at hiding it from me. And I don't think they were capable of hiding it from me because, whatever, they're not. So that's right. But like, okay, so you don't want anybody, period, in the first place who's disobedient or like is confrontational. Maybe they are good with you, but they're confrontational with other people. You still don't want them, right? You don't want anybody with that edge. This is me personally. This is my preference. Like I don't want anybody. Fuck, did I mute myself? I better not have muted myself. Okay, good. I don't want anybody who is going to give me give me any sort of pushback. And I also don't want anybody who is going to like get in conflict with people. Again, why I don't hire women? Because they're always fucking catty. It's their nature to be fucking cunty. So you definitely don't want to have those people as managers, because if they they're going to act that way to their employees too. I'm allowed to be like that. I'm allowed to, say whatever the fuck I want because it's my business. I'm the one who calls the shots. I'm in charge. Now, I have since matured since 2 weeks ago when I was a dick to everybody. And I'm getting better and more professional, but they're not allowed to do that. They need to be helpful and nice and the good cop. And number 4 is don't pick anybody from outside the organization. One of the next videos that I do is going to be horror stories from 5 chatting agencies that I've worked with. And I've worked with 5. They've all been terrible, different degrees of terrible. But one was decent. I had one for a while and they did sell. They did make some money. But even they turned out to be terrible in the end. And all of that came from hiring people outside the organization with experience. Now, this is specific to chatting agencies. The issue with that is that, and I heard this first from Andrew Tate, and I didn't believe it when I heard it. But he's right. Okay, this is in Hustlers University. And what he said, if you've watched that, his original info product, which is the 100 lessons, what he said is that if you're going to hire somebody, hire an employee, do not hire an agency. Do not contract the work out to an agency. And the reason that he gave is that the agency exists for one purpose, and that is to make money for the agency. And that is true. The agency will not treat you the same as your employee will treat you. I mean, not to mention that like you will get a lot more out of an employee. They work for you, based on time. Agencies usually work based on results. So like I can have an employee put in 8 hours for me and do 5 times as much as the agency does. The agency's leverage is that they have the expertise and they maybe have a team that can fucking do something, but you can build your own team. You can have your own team that does whatever. So, that applies, I believe, to chatting agencies as well. And that's also, I think, why so many chatting agencies are so bad, because they exist only to make money for themselves. They don't care. I mean, maybe they do care, but they're not going to care about, they're not going to care as much about getting your model a good results as you are. And when you hire somebody from outside the organization, they don't have the skin in the game of somebody. And this is just me, right? But I hire people with no experience, train them from scratch, and turn them into the people that I want them to turn them into, or that I want to turn them into. If you hire somebody from outside the organization to put in charge of all of these people who like you built up from the ground, they're not going to understand. I mean, at least not in OFM. That might work in other industries that are older and more mature. And I don't mean older and more mature in terms of like the age of the people who run the businesses. OFM is a new business. It's a new business model. It's been around for like a couple years, and it still isn't really mainstream. So you're not going to find, because they don't exist, right? You're not going to find a guy, well, except for me. I mean, really, I'm the only one that I've ever met who's like good at hiring and training chatters. I'm sure they're out there. Other people claim, a lot of people claim, but like I'm the only one that I've actually seen it happen, But because it's such a new industry and it's totally unregulated and it's all cross-border, it's all international. So like what I want to say culpability, is that the word? What obligation do these people have to really do a good job for you? Let's say they anyway, you get what I'm saying. Somebody who comes from outside the organization does not have the understanding of how you do things, and they are probably not going to do as good a job. And that is it. I am hungry. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe, comment, like, and I will see you next time.